The Community Partnership for Protecting Children is a model of working together that is in effect in about 13 states. There's been a model, an active model, for about 8 years in Portland. The goal of the Community Partnership is to see a reduction in the numbers of children going into care with the state due to abuse or neglect, and the number of referrals for abuse or neglect.
And how long have you been in Bangor?
We've been in Bangor for a year and a half. Really up and running for just about a year.
And go on.
The model is a neighborhood by neighborhood model. So that means that if we establish ourselves in an initial neighborhood, we'll expand to include other neighborhoods. Our initial neighborhood is Old Capehart, and our governing body has just voted to expand to New Capehart. The model is a community model that invites anyone who has anything to do with a given neighborhood to come together around the table to work together. Anyone who is willing to discuss what they do and how they do it in a transparent way, to receive feedback from their peers as well as from community residents. So we're working with over 25 partners who've signed on, including the Bangor Police Department, the Bangor Public Library, Catholic Charities, Wings for Children and Families, Bangor Housing Authority, Penquist, and others, as well as working with community residents themselves. The Department of Health and Human Services is a key player in that they've assigned workers to the neighborhood itself. The idea is that the department realizes that they are an important player in preventing child abuse and neglect. And a way that they can do that effectively is to be in the neighborhood and to be seen as part of the neighborhood. So we have workers who are working in an office out of the neighborhood, and they are getting to know neighborhood residents, and they're being seen as a resource that residents can go to, and not simply seen as a group that's going to intervene when a problem is identified. As part of our work, we've engaged the community residents, and they've gotten together to talk about what they'd like to see happen in the neighborhood. Our model works with children and protecting children, but it also works with the rest of the neighborhood. People often say, so what you're working on is for children, as though it's not about them. And what we say is, well, that's true. Our philosophy is that healthy and safe children live in a healthy and safe family. So the neighborhood is part of a healthy and safe community. So we're working with supporting individual families as well as working to help strengthen the neighborhood as a whole. So the neighborhood residents got together, and this is actually our first anniversary of offering community events. They were the ones who said, let's have a community cleanup day. And our partners saw that enthusiasm, they saw that interest, and said, let's work together to make that happen. And so last year we had close to 100 people out cleaning up the neighborhood, working together. People said that in 25 years they'd never seen the community come together to help one another the way that they were doing that day. This will be our first anniversary of that event. The community residents have also put together a walk and bike to school event, which is encouraging people to walk and bike safely to school. And we've worked with Literacy Volunteers of Bangor to offer a literacy program, a reading aloud program for families. We provided that workshop in the winter, and we had over 80 folks attend, and we'll be doing that again on May 7th. The residents group got together and decided to name themselves Brick Peace, and Brick Peace stands for Building Relationships in Community, Kids, Parents, Educating and Creating Empowerment.
Well, I started going to church, and I was talking to our pastor about more things that we could do in the community, and he said, I know this great group you need to join. And so I came out for the dinner, and they were giving me information and talking about what was going on and how they go about doing stuff. And then the cleanup day was the next day, so I brought my children out, And I started from my church, and we walked around onto my road, which is Blue Hill East, and it really shocked me how much people responded to what we were doing. There was so much trash that was on my road that collects from during the winter, and there was just people everywhere just picking it up, and it was so cool to see so many people happy and working together, and it was really cool because the end product, I mean, our street was so clean and looking so awesome, and I just can't wait to do it again this year.
So what are some of the goals of the organization? What other things do you think are important that the group can do?
Working on keeping children being safe when they're outside of their home, walking on the sidewalks, wearing their helmets. What else? What are the other things? I can't remember. Oh, the food program, keeping them fed during the summer, because I mean it's a hard thing to be able to do. If keeping your children fed, because I mean the food stamps doesn't provide the other supplements that you would be getting during the school year versus during the summer. It's harder, and so through. Good Shepherd Food Bank and Bangor Housing, they came together and they made this really awesome summer program where there's going to be activities for the children as well as a good healthy lunch, and that's one of our goals, is to keep the kids safe and healthy.